Avatar Legends, the fighting game, brings Avatar characters into the FGC with a traditional 1v1 2D fighter and a very attractive price tag of $30. The gameplay Group and Paramount Games provided me with a review code on PC, so I could tell you all about it. My name's Globku, and this is my review for Avatar Legends, the fighting game. Avatar Legends is a fighting game first, one that I found pretty easy to get into as a beginner as long as you plan to stay that way. The difficulty quickly ramps up as soon as you're ready to take the next step, making it a scary game to try and master. But it does start pretty easy, as every character has an auto combo if you mash the light attack button, an auto combo that can actually change if you hold a direction while mashing, immediately giving you different combo options even if you don't want to sit in the lab learning different routes. Outside of auto combos, manual combos are also pretty simple. You can just do ABC into a special move, and that works with most characters. And when it comes to special motions, they're all quarter circles for the most part. Once you start discovering a character though, you'll find that the intermediate level of this game feels pretty advanced already. Tight links dominate basic BNB combos, filled with variants that you must constantly be aware, like what was your combo starter, how far from your opponent are you, and what's your position on stage. And once you start diving into each character's mechanics, such as critical hits that are fulfilled with specific conditions different for each character in the roster, like Aang here, he can get a critical by using his fast descent and immediately hitting the opponent with a crouching B attack. You see how big that knockback is? That is a critical hit, and you gotta be ready to convert that into a combo. And with how tight the windows are, even for the most basic combos, improvising isn't always possible. That's not to say you don't have a lot of options, on the contrary. Avatar Legends systems are incredibly flexible and allow for so many different routes and player expression. It's one of the things that makes it shine in my opinion, but if you're trying to do something that's not already engraved into your fingers, you're gonna have a pretty tough time not dropping combos. I do think that even after you learn it, the game can be pretty obnoxious with its precision sometimes. Some bigger buffer windows wouldn't hurt in specific cases, but it's also a game that shines thanks to its complexity. There's always something new to learn, something to explore, and as you're playing through a match, you're not just going through the motions of your block strings and your BNBs, you're actively thinking about the critical hits you still have, whether this opponent is someone that you think will get hit by them or not, and having all of that at your disposal feels great in a fighting game as it makes the skill ceiling extremely high. It's a very fast game too. Sometimes you throw a button out there and just pray it hits. There's not a lot of time to hit confirm, but movement is also incredible thanks to the flow system. Every character has access to flow actions, which can often be used for movement and defense. These are unique for every character, but in general they can be used to avoid high or low attacks or to approach an opponent from the ground or the air. And the best part is that you can usually cancel flow actions into each other, really enhancing how crazy movement can get. Every character can also simply hold the flow button to dodge any incoming strikes, though this will make you vulnerable to throws, which will become critical hits if they catch you while holding the flow button. Flow actions usually cost flow meter, which is the bar below your health, and then below that you also have energy, which are those little colored circles. This is the meter you use for EX moves and supers, and the way you gain this meter can be, once again, character specific. There are universal ways of gaining energy, such as the first time you hit a special move during a combo, or when you land a throw, but many critical hits also grant you energy, and to know what critical hits your character has, you're gonna have to check your character's move list. Losing a round unleashes the maximum potential of energy, which is 7 bars total, which is what you need to unleash a character's strongest super. The game's launching with 12 characters, 2 of which are locked behind story mode at first, and all of them have unique playstyles. You've got characters like Aang, who can summon wind and then use it to power his own movement. You have Toph, who dominates the ground game with tracking attacks and lots of armor. Zahir, who straight up has free flight and the ability to summon his Red Lotus buddies for assist attacks, or Korra, who, despite feeling like a normal fighting game character comparatively, has her own side quest going of completing the Avatar cycle. Each character also comes with 3 supports to choose from that can specialize them even further. Kyoshi here, for instance, has Rangi, who enhances a special move that's very common in her combos, Kelsang, who gives her incredible air mobility including a double jump, and Yoon, who enhances another special move that improves her mix-up and lets her pick up combos off the ground easier. Overall, Avatar Legends, the fighting game, is not a hard game to pick up. It's very fast, but auto combos and easy motion inputs can bring any beginner in. Taking the next step, however, it's going to take dedication. This is a hard fighting game to master, extremely hard even, and that can be a good or a bad thing depending on what you're looking to get out of it. But that's it for the basics of gameplay. Let's dive into its game modes. The main game mode in Avatar Legends is Story Mode, which was written by the original creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender, even if it does feel like a low-stakes alternate universe plot.
That bending... You're the Avatar?
I thought we made that clear back at the iceberg.
But that's impossible. We already have an avatar.
It's the time of harmonic convergence, so our characters enter a spirit portal into a world where Katara doesn't remember Aang, but is friends with Kyoshi. Korra is best friends with Azula and hates Zuko, and Sokka is some kind of spiritual guru. Don't get me wrong, I think the story is very fun. There are a ton of priceless interactions that I'll remember forever as a fan of these characters, like Zahir looking for a sponsor for his pro bending team in Lord Ozai.
Excuse me, professional bending.
How would you like to be our sponsor?
But at the end of the day, they are in a time bubble that they must solve before everything goes back to normal, having zero impact in the world of Avatar. The entire thing is voice acted and animated with the game's actual sprites, using moves that they have in-game to best represent what's happening, and overall, I think they did a great job with the presentation. Gameplay-wise though, the game mode is just a series of versus battles with a few side objectives if you want to go for them. There's a light RPG element where the more you fight as a character, they get more health and access to more energy, and in between levels, you can buy support from Momo's Bazaar. So unlike versus battles, you can actually have all 3 supports active for each character in story mode. The mode takes a little over 3 hours to beat, and developers said the game would release with New Game Plus with higher difficulty, something I didn't have access to in the build that I played. Other than story mode, the game also has an arcade mode where once again you get some unique character interactions without voice acting this time, but each character has their own mini story. Usually something low stakes, pretty light and fun as well. You get points based on how well you did and unlock something from the gallery once you complete it, usually concept art from the original shows. In the practice menu, you have a tutorial for each character, where beyond combos, they teach you good buttons and mix up ideas. Definitely worth going through when picking up a character for the first time. There's a lot of good information here that could actually save you a trip to YouTube to look for a guide on how to play a character. You also have combo trials that go from very easy auto combos to really advanced stuff that will have you pulling your hair out just like I love it. I did feel a bit of jank here and there, where some moves I did weren't being recognized. That could lead to some frustrations, but I've also seen how responsive these devs have been, and that gives me faith for quick fixes if anything serious actually arises. Plus, both of these modes come with a breakdown feature where they take you through the combos step by step, and you get to play them almost like a rhythm game. And then of course you have training mode, which is very complete. You have a frame data bar, which makes it easy to see any move's startup and recovery frames. You have an input reader and even recording options to set for your opponent. I missed the option to set my opponent to randomly block in order to practice hit confirming, but for the most part, I had everything I wanted out of a training mode. That said, this is a fighting game, and the fighting is mostly going to take place online. The build I played only had 2 options, matchmaking and lobbies. I was told ranked matches would be available at launch, but I wasn't able to try those myself. As for lobbies, the game is launching with only 2-person lobbies, meaning there's no ability to spectate your friends for now, but they did mention it's something that's coming post-launch. Regardless, the game features rollback netcode and crossplay, which is incredible. I was able to play multiple people cross-region with minimal issues, though some characters are a bit more susceptible to rollback than others. Yes, free flight is still a problem for rollback. You can see a bit of teleporting. Wi-Fi can enhance this problem, teleporting can get even more atrocious, and this is a very fast-paced game. It almost feels like it wasn't built for rollback given how quick and snappy it is. But rollback is definitely better than the alternative. A $30 game showing that it is possible to do rollback and crossplay is something that I think we should definitely celebrate, as many AAA titles are still not doing it nowadays. With this, Avatar Legends shows that it has its priorities straight. Avatar Legends is not the most content-rich fighting game out there, not the flashiest or the most friendly to new fighting game players, but it's a game whose complexity allows for an incredibly high skill ceiling and delivers where it matters most with rollback netcode and crossplay, which is why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And that's my review for Avatar Legends the fighting game. A reminder that I reviewed the game on PC. Last time I played on console, it had some issues, so it's worth checking a console review to see if those have been fixed. Other than that, I hope you guys have fun with this one, because I certainly did, and I'll be posting a few character guides in the coming days to help you guys get started. But as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye!